now. I'm at Barbershop, and it's been a while since I've been uploading a video. As you tell, maybe I've lost my voice a little bit. It's been like this for about 4 weeks or something like that. So I thought I'd just reconnect with you, go live before I start churning out some more video. And I wanted to see if I could answer some questions. So if you've got any questions that you want to ask me, anything at all, ask me. But other questions I've had from viewers, I had questions about clippers. I get loads of questions about clippers all the time. Um, One of the most common questions is, what is a good clipper to buy? So I'll tell you what I use. I use pretty much two brands. I use either Wall or I use Andis. Those are the two brands that I use. But other good professional clippers on the market are Babyliss or Oster, which has been around since the time of the dinosaurs. Here's the workhorse I use, the Wall Senior. Now, this is quite heavy compared to something like the Wall Magiclip. Someone asked me, Chris asked me, what is a good clipper for me to carry when I'm traveling? So a really good clipper is the Wall Magiclip, which is much lighter than this, but an equivalent performance. It maybe doesn't have the same. It doesn't have the same battery life, but it's much lighter. So if you were traveling, Wall Magiclip, great clipper. And little trimmers. When it comes to little trimmers, people ask me about these little trimmers. What blade should we be using? What do you want to get? I think if you're going to go for a little trimmer, you want a really tight blade, something with like very, very, very close teeth and blades very closely aligned, and that's going to give you such a tight line or a bold line when you're working. Now, if you're just joining, I can see a few people are joining here. I am recovering from losing my voice pretty much, so that's why my voice sounds like this. And another clipper, okay. Remember these? I said I used Andis. This is the D8, which has deep teeth. Now, if you have thick hair, you're working on thick hair, the D8 is a better blade because the teeth are so deep it can accommodate a lot of hair, and you don't have that problem of the blade when you push on the hair. It's sort of like it's as if it's not cutting; it's struggling through the hair. Deep teeth is a good thing, but of course you need a powerful motor to cut through thick hair. So that's that. Adrian Stefan asked me, is it safe to go straight up the side of your head with a 3mm? Well, this is a good question. It is safe, but it is very unforgiving. So if you decide that you're going to pop the 3mm on and go up the side of the head, at this point here, where all the action's happening, where the blend is happening, there's a quite a large possibility it's gone. You know, it's that short then. If you use a 6mm and you cut it, you know, you come past this area here and it looks okay, then there's the possibility that you can go slightly shorter again with your 3mm guard. So that's something to consider. Just to keep it safe, stay on. I would start with a number 2, which is a 6mm guard. Um, Joanna asks me, seeking advice on good scissors. Right, so if you're just starting out or you want to get some scissors for at home, what should you buy? How much money should you spend? Well, for me, in my career, and almost every barber I've known, they all seem to start off with one brand, and it's Jaguar scissors. And I know you can get them in North America, you could probably get them in Australia, you get them in the UK. They're very reliable as a starter scissor. Very, very good. They'll last a decent amount of time, and they don't cost you a fortune. I would say in the UK you're going to pay anything between 40 to £100, somewhere in that bracket for a Jaguar scissor. United States, with exchange rate, maybe that's $60 to $150, around that region. But I would get that. I wouldn't go any cheaper than that. I wouldn't spend less than that amount of money, because it's, you're really just cutting hair with, you know, it's going to be hard, a cheap scissor. So coffee, need coffee. Once you've got your scissors, have a coffee. Okay, someone else, another question. 5K sub says that I sound like Shrek. Does anyone else think I sound like Shrek? I don't think I sound like Shrek, but he's a pretty cool guy, Shrek, so I don't mind that, actually. My good friend Gary McRae over in Canada, he was asking me about these model heads. Now, if you're learning to cut hair, these things are like your best friend. They're so cheap. Like, you can pick these up really cheap. You get them on Amazon, model heads. Look for a mannequin head, and very often they come with real human hair. When you're cutting hair with this, you try and do a number of haircuts with a model head. Obviously, it's very long, so you would start out by doing long scissor cuts, and you would gradually take small amounts off. Then work your way down to your longest clipper, and you would use your longest clipper. Maybe, use the technique I showed you. Go straight up the side, and with a number 5 or 6 or 10 if you've got one. I'm not a big fan of a number 10, but your long numbers, just to give you practice, using the motions that you would use when you're cutting hair. And you can always go shorter and shorter and style this as well. You can make any kind of hairstyle at all with these model heads. It's also a good idea to practice sectioning off the hair, clip some out of the way, and make it manageable. Just cut certain amount, certain areas of the head of hair. But these model heads, if you're trying to learn barbering, are really, really good. In fact, what I'll do is I'll put some links for everything that I'm talking about on this live feed later on. So model heads, definitely a good shout. Now, what's happening at the shop? Give you a little tour behind me here. It's Saturday afternoon. I only have one appointment left, so that's why I'm live. You can see just behind me there, the shop's quiet. I've got my pictures on the wall there. I love that picture of the cowboy there, because what's happened in his life, things haven't gone well, but I think it tells a story. So this is my little workstation here. I've got my clippers, the coffee, a whole selection of combs, and I've got this drawer over here filled with products. And what I keep here, this is really interesting. What's this for? Let me show you. So you need like a disgusting rag. What's this for? This is chamois leather, and what I would do with this, let me get a pair of scissors out of the Barbicide. So the chamois leather, when you're working with scissors throughout the day, you can't see it, but there's like a little burr, microscopic metal that forms on the blade. So take your chamois leather, and I do this once a day, just once a day. I take the chamois leather and I clean the blade just like this. It just hones the blade, and it takes any sort of nasty burr, not nasty, you can't even see it, but there's little bits of metal fragments. So just clean them off. And sometimes what I'll do, once I've done that, I get some clipper side and spray right across there, and that gives it a nice and gets it nice and clean. And give it another wipe, and your scissors are going to work an absolute dream. Okay, now look at that, the action's amazing. When it comes to holding scissors, here's a little tip for you. Okay, your third finger here is going to go into the scissor. and your thumb goes into the thumb loop, okay? The other two fingers, they rest on the shank of the scissor, and your pinky fingers round. And there we have, okay? Now, the reason for that is, what we want is, we want this blade here to stay still and just operate your thumb on the scissor. And that gives you a nice tick. But wrapping that knuckle, wrapping the finger over there at this point really stabilizes your scissor, okay? So you get nice action there. And just a little scissor tip for you. These are quartered steel scissors, not Jaguars. These are lifelong scissors that you would use. Something else in the barber's toolkit, okay? Let's say you're going to spend a little bit more on your scissors, or you want more fun. Let's call it fun, okay? Check those teeth out there. Look at that. Look at the angle on them. So as they close, you notice that the blade doesn't actually close straight. It's not a straight closing surface. It closes at an angle. And what happens, that creates some amazing texture on the hair. And you will find these scissors online. I would, if you were looking for them, you could Google texturizing scissors. I'll see if I can find some links to drop in, some affiliate links, and I'll put that in the description. But this scissor here, they take out a lot of weight. This will take half of the hair. So if I pick up a section, let's get the model head, and I'm going to show you, okay? So the model head, I'll just comb some of his hair up here. I want you to see this, okay? Here we are. Now watch this. I'm going to cut some of this. So we retain some of the length, then about halfway down, the hair's a lot thicker. So you can see it takes quite a lot of weight, and it can really take a dramatic amount of weight. What is good though is if you pick up the hair and at the very ends you can chip in or cut across, and that'll give you like just give you like a really nice texture on your on the ends of the hair. So great fun tool. Have one of these. I'd highly recommend this. If I can find a link for this type of scissor, I will post it in the description below. Let me have a wee look. What else we got here? Products. I don't know what you use for products. This is my own product here. Chop Dust Up, which is a dry dust product. You just shake it all over and ruffle it in. Dry products have become really popular recently, and of course, who doesn't just love hair bond? I love hair bond, as you guys know. I'm always using hair bond. They just make good products. Now coming up, I have a video coming up soon, and Bruce Wayne, who follows the channel, okay, clipper over comb. This is really key here. If you're doing clipper over comb, is different colors of combs. They're really cheap. You know, 3 combs, less than $10 probably. But the reason for that is that there's contrast. You get contrast when you're cutting hair using different colors of comb. So if I was cutting dark hair, I wouldn't use a black comb because it's harder to see the hair against the backdrop of a black comb. So very often a lot of people will just use black and white. I use black, white and red, and I tend to use red the most because it contrasts with everything. So that's the next video. I'm going to be showing how you yourself can use clipper over comb on yourself. It's going to be a technique you probably haven't seen before, and it's different to what you would do in a professional setting, but it does work, and it's a really simple, cool technique. Now, where are we? Yeah, so what I'm going to do is, guys, I've got a client. As I say, I've got one more client this afternoon. I'm going to have to shoot off now. If you've got any questions or comments or anything that you want to see or know about, drop it in the comment section below, and I will endeavour to answer. I'll give you possibly can on any subject that you ask me about. If I have knowledge on it, I'll give you that, okay? So guys, listen, thank you so much for watching, joining me this afternoon, and I hope to hopefully see you all in the next video. Until next time, guys, thank you.